it out with some improvisation and witty banter. You'll have no doubt that, yes, there really is an answer. Kalamazoo.
Good evening, Kalamazoo, and welcome to Yes, There Really Is an Answer, the show that's part game show, part improv theater, part talk show, but all Kalamazoo. I'm Bannon Backus with Crawl Space Theater and Crawl Space Eviction, and I'll be hosting the show tonight. Of course, we continue to wish everyone the best as all of us make our way through 2020. And as always, a special thank you to all of the essential workers out there. In fact, 2020 has been the kind of year that if someone was ready to just call the planet Earth a loss, you probably couldn't blame them. And for those people, there's some good news because at the end of this month, the launch window begins for the Perseverance rover, which is designed to explore Mars and gather information that could aid in colonization of the red planet. And included with the rover's equipment, if you don't already know this, are a couple of microphones that, with a little bit of luck, will allow us to hear what the surface of Mars sounds like, which is awesome. But with this being 2020 and me not exactly being an optimist, I wanted to take just a quick moment to prepare us for the worst possible cases of audio that might be recorded on Mars. So here's the first worst possible audio that could be recorded on Mars. Dibs. Pretty bad, right? Here's another. Aw, they sent us another toaster oven for the king and queen. That's it. Tomorrow we're going to send them our best venom-blooded, fire-breathing colossal spider. And the last thing that we should be prepared to be here recorded on Mars. People of Earth, long have we prepared for your arrival. And in so doing, we have irrevocably incorporated the best of humanity into our own culture. Here, you will find that all of our literature reads as if it was written by Dan Brown. All of our music sounds as if it was performed by Kevin Federline. And our entire society now incorporates the attitudes and conventions of humanity's crowning achievement, social media. Hashtag Mars, hashtag Rusty but Trusty, hashtag Venus sucks, ROML, rolling on Mars laughing. And now let's meet our contestants. There they are. Hi, contestants.
Hello.
Hey.
So good to see both of you. We have on our top right, Wallace Lucas, and it's my pleasure to announce for maybe the first time in video format, Lizzie King. Lizzie King, the
Hello.
recently married Lizzie King. So good to see you.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, just take a quick second to get reacquainted with the two of you because it's been a while since I've seen you. And we will start with you, Wallace. How have you been?
I've been good. Still working from home. Still trying to not socialize too much. So just hanging out. The new season of Married at First Sight just started. So that's been really great. And yeah, that's been me.
So Married at First Sight. I'm not familiar with it, I promise. But so is it like a blind dating, blind marriage kind of thing, or?
Kind of. They have like a group of, it's like a psychiatrist, a sex therapist, and like a pastor, and they just pick from a pool of people. Yeah, they just pick from a pool of people, and it's supposed to be like ideal matches, but they're kind of really shallow because they're like they match two people just because they both like cats. Like that was their whole rationale for matching them, and so it's kind of just watching and seeing if it works, and most of the time it doesn't. But every once in a while it does.
Now, do they get married first and then you see how it works?
Yep, they meet at the altar and they get legally married, and then after like 8 weeks they can decide to get divorced.
Okay, that sounds like a great way to pass the time, honestly.
Oh yeah, I love it.
How many seasons of it has there been?
I think this is the 11th. So
Wow.
there's a lot if you want to go check it out.
Yeah, nice. Well, you mentioned shallow, but my question that I have for both you and Lizzie is a little bit deep. And this is the question that I'd like to pose to both of you. And you're up first, Wallace. So here it is. It's summertime. A lot of people swim in the ocean during the summertime. So naturally, my mind wanders to a question like this. When swimming in the ocean, what do you most fear will come out from the deep and eat you?
I think I would say a whale shark.
A whale shark.
Yeah, I think they're actually peaceful, but just like the name, those two things together, those giant creatures, is I just picture it coming up and swallowing me.
Yeah, absolutely. And just because most whale sharks are peaceful, that doesn't mean that there aren't one-offs.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Some could have a bad attitude. Or
I think that's what Darwin called it, as a one-off. I'm not sure. Okay, great answer. I'm on board with the whale shark, absolutely. And Lizzie King, hi.
Hi.
What have you been up to since last we saw you?
Getting married,
Getting hitched?
for the sole reason that Ryan owns a cat. It was really my my decision. It's our cat now. Yeah, so getting married, we went on a mini moon up to Traverse City and did some hiking and canoeing. Went to the beach, just kind of relaxed. It was great.
Nice. Yeah, because both of you, now that you mention it, both of you are kind of outdoorsy, right?
Yeah.
Like doing that. Awesome. Well, congratulations again.
Thanks.
And same question for you, Lizzie. When swimming in the ocean, what do you most fear will come out from the deep and eat you?
Yeah, it's got to be a giant squid because they have a beak. I don't know if you're familiar with squids, but they have beaks, and they're used to tear flesh off of their prey. And they've got barbs on their tentacles, and it would just really be painful and terrifying.
Absolutely. And I, just like the whale shark, I can totally get behind that. Do you like squids or octopi better?
I don't know. I mean, I've eaten them both, and that's probably why I don't want to swim with them. I think they would know, and they would have a vendetta against me.
Yeah, so they can smell it on your breath.
Yeah.
No, that makes perfect sense. Yeah, the sea holds many a vendetta. All right, awesome answers. So good to have both of you back on. And of course, our contestants, these two lovely people, have improv backgrounds. So as we're playing the game, not only are they going to have to try to correctly answer each question, but they're going to have to try and do it as a character. And I'm going to allow each of them to pick their character right now, starting with Wallace. And so Wallace, here are your three character choices. You can be a struggling stand-up comedian trying out new material. You can be a man constantly distracted by the mysteries of quantum physics, or a conspiracy theorist.
I'll go with struggling stand-up comedian trying new material.
Okay, awesome. And what is the name of your character, Wallace?
Lenny Marks.
Lenny Marks. Perfect. So Wallace is going to be playing a struggling stand-up comedian who's using this opportunity to try out some new material. And his character's name is Lenny Marks. Perfect. And Lizzie King, here are your three character choices. Someone truly, madly, deeply in love.
Aww.
Yeah, I thought it was fitting. A morning shock jock. Or the writer of a blog about the dark side of food.
Oh. Those are all great.
And if you don't pick the first one, I know that Ryan will not hold it against you.
I like the terror food blogger.
The terror food blogger. Yeah. Awesome. So Lizzie's character is going to be the writer of a blog about the dark side of food. Awesome. And what is your character's name, Lizzie?
Let's go with Janet Foodborne.
Janet Foodborne is the name of Lizzie's character, who blogs about the dark side of food. Perfect. All right. Well, now while they get situated and prepare to get into character, I'll quickly explain how our little show here works for those who might be watching for the first time. So the way that we play, each contestant is going to take turns answering questions about Kalamazoo. There's going to be 6 questions total, and we're going to end the game with one final question that every contestant answers, and that one's going to be worth 300 points. And remember, as part of our program, you, the viewer, are going to have an opportunity to ask these characters any question that you'd like. So after each contestant has answered a couple of questions, we're going to be taking a short break for a Q&A, and Dan Seitzma, who's working behind the scenes, will select any questions that you have. So start commenting as soon as possible and with your question, and your question might get asked. After the final question, we're going to see who the winner is, and that contestant with the lowest score is going to serenade us with a verse from that timeless song, I've Got a Gal in Kalamazoo, in a cappella style. So now, without any further ado, let's start our game show. And welcome to Yes, There Really Is an Answer. I'm your host, Bannon Backus. And here are our contestants, Lenny Marks and Janet Foodborne. So good to have both of you here. And Lenny, you won our coin toss backstage, so you're going to be the first to answer. And Lenny, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. It's great. It's great to be here tonight. How is everybody?
I'm doing well. I don't want to speak for Janet, but I'm doing well. And I'm so glad that you could find some time to be here with us tonight, Lenny, because I understand that you actually lost out on a gig to be here. Is that correct?
Yeah. Well, I missed out on a pretty good paying gig down at the VFW. Mm-hmm. But I have been hitting a lot of open mics. Well, I was before lockdown and all that, but I was hitting a lot of open mics and trying my stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I cannot offer you any cash, but tonight I can offer you something even more valuable, the chance to win hundreds and hundreds of points. So speaking of which, we're going to get right to it, Lenny, with our first question, which our own Dana White will be pulling up. And there it is. Your question, Lenny, is how many McDonald's restaurants are located in Kalamazoo? And Lenny, yes, there really is an answer.
Yeah, it's kind of funny when you go to McDonald's. They're always, I don't know. I go there a lot, and they mess up your order, and you're like, hey, no wonder you don't make a lot of money, because they mess up your order. Mm-hmm. So I go there a lot, but I don't spill coffee on myself like that frivolous lawsuit. But because I go there a lot, I would say probably, three.
3. Okay. An excellent guess. It would have been better if you had added 7 to that number, because as you can see here, the actual correct answer is 10. It is 10, which starts Lenny out during our game with 0 points, but not to fear, Lenny. There's plenty of yes, there really is an answer to come. It is very exciting, Lenny. And speaking of exciting, next up we have Janet Foodborne. How are you doing tonight, Janet?
Well, Bannon, thank you for asking me. I'm not doing too well. I'm actually quite concerned. A few days ago, I went to a social distancing genital reveal party for a baby, and I proceeded to eat lots and lots of cherries But I was very nervous about being around people, so I ate the pits. And I hear, or as you may know, if you crunch the pits and you swallow them, you could get arsenic poisoning. So I might be dying.
Oh my gosh, Janet.
But it's fine. I'm glad to be here. Thank you for having me, Lenny. I saw you at Louis back in March, and you were great then.
Oh, thank you.
I have to say though, I had one of their taco baskets and I let it sit a little too long. I took it home and I didn't refrigerate it like I should have, and I ate it and I got real sick.
I'm sorry to hear that.
It's not your fault.
Oh.
I have to say, Janet, that I actually do follow your blog, and some of the pictures that you post do leave me feeling a little bit sick too.
Well, they should, because I think that there comes a lot of knowledge with the pictures I post. I think that you should see what the food looks like before and after.
Mm-hmm. That is certainly
I'm the foodborne queen.
Mm-hmm.
Hashtag foodborne queen.
Right. Well, moving right along, Janet, this is a question that is right up your alley because it has to do with a news personality, and you being a blogger should probably know this. The question is, born in Kalamazoo, this person was once CNN's chief political correspondent and was the moderator for the second presidential election debate between Barack Obama and Mitt Romney. What is this person's name, Janet? What is this person's name?
Oh boy, this is really far off the mark for me. I really don't follow politics closely because I'm so concerned about what I'm eating, about to eat, what I did eat, what my friends and family are going to eat. But I'm just going to go out there. I think it's Wolf Blitzer because that's a name I have heard before.
Okay, and there's no faulting a strategy like that. Unfortunately, the answer is Candy Crowley. Candy Crowley. In your blog, because I am a more recent follower, do you cover any candies or sweets at all, Janet?
I sure do. There are a lot of hidden dangers in candy, especially candy such as like Easter candy, Halloween candy, birthday candy, bat mitzvah candy. Any candy that really sits out for a long period of time can be teeming with bacteria. So it's really not a good idea to save candy.
Right.
It could kill you. Candy's the silent killer.
Yep, I've heard that. And actually, now that I'm remembering, I remember that you actually found something very interesting inside a Kinder Egg once.
I did. It was a maggot.
Yep, it was a maggot. All right, we're going to move right along to question 3, and this is for you, Lenny. And just a quick reminder for our viewers, after Lenny answers question 3, we're going to take a break for our Q&A. So if you haven't already posted a question for either Lenny or Janet, be sure to do that right now, and our own Dana White might pick it to be asked. So here's your question, Lenny. Name 2 of the 5 Western Michigan University departments that regularly use Asylum Lake for research. Do you spend much time on the lake, Lenny?
Every once in a while, got to get your feet wet and all that. And I don't want to derail this too much. I just earlier she said silent killer, and silent killer is what we call my mother-in-law. Zing zang. But yeah, I haven't really gone to the lake much since my sister drowned. But we used to go.
I am so sorry, Lenny.
Did she eat before?
She did.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I didn't even think about that.
So, Janet, you think that there might be some connection?
Yeah, you really hear that you shouldn't eat 30 minutes before going swimming, but after doing my own research, I would say it's 3 to 6 hours before swimming. You should not eat anything.
It was 5 hours.
See?
Oh.
Wow.
Oh, I feel sick.
That's fantastic. Not the death of your sister, but
right, yeah,
that new information. And I assume that your research was peer reviewed, Janet?
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
All right. So question 3. And are you emotionally able to answer this question right now, Lenny?
Yeah, it was last year.
Oh, okay. So that's old news. All right.
Yeah.
So yeah, name 2 of the 5 Western Michigan university departments that regularly use Asylum Lake for research. What are you thinking, Lenny?
Well, I'm gonna say I'm gonna have to go with botany. And chemistry.
Botany and chemistry. All right. Well, you know what? I would have given you botany, but there's no way in hell that I'm going to give you chemistry, Lenny, because if you look at the list of answers, correct answers that Dana White's going to put up, we've got anthropology, biology. That's where I would have given you botany. Environmental studies, geography, and hydrogeology.
Well, they won't book me at Western because my comedy's too edgy. So that's kind of it's a tough one for me. But
yeah, Western is a pretty conservative school, so I understand that. All right. Well, before we break for our Q&A, we'll do a quick recap of scores so far. Lenny has 0 points, and Janet is also tied with 0 points. So it's an even race when we get right back into it. But now, of course, it's time for our Q&A, where you and the audience will have an opportunity to ask either Lenny or Janet a question. So we'll give Dana White a second to post one. And here we are, the first one from Sue Holler, a longtime viewer. We appreciate you, Sue. And it looks like it's for you, Lenny.
Okay.
Here's Sue's question. Lenny, where is the seediest club in Kalamazoo that you've been trying out your new material? Great question from Sue.
Yeah, it's a little bit off the beaten path, but I'd probably have to go with the Burger King that's on West Nidge down by the Walgreens. They actually they do an open mic night on Tuesdays, and the vibe there is a little off. There's usually some people shooting up in the bathroom, coming out, trying to have a couple yucks. But the guy that works door is just the nicest fella. So I really like the vibe.
You're right. And I think I remember reading about this on Reddit. At the end of each night, they proclaim someone to be the king of comedy that night, right? And you get a paper hat.
Yeah, you get a paper hat. You get a free soda, a small one.
A small one.
So
yeah.
It's pretty good.
No, it sounds like a great gig. Yeah. And have you ever been king of comedy there at the Burger King, Lenny?
No, there's this like 14-year-old kid. He's like the Eddie Murphy of that place. He gets it like every time.
Oh, wow. Comedy, it takes investment. It takes time. So, all the best to you, Lenny. And may you someday be king.
Exactly.
Right. You should be happy, Lenny, that you didn't get the soda, because soda is a killer in the food industry. It is killing all of the children. Half of the children die from soda.
We're gonna have to talk after this because I'm gonna
America.
Get some more info from you.
Yeah. And I remember actually, Janet, that you here's another question from Sue Holler. I will defer to our viewers. Janet, besides the maggot, what's the nastiest thing that you've discovered in a prepackaged food product?
That is a great question, Sue. Yeah. Thank you for asking. Many people don't know that prepackaged rice dishes in the food industry are made with sink water. Which means that they're teeming with brain amoebas. So next time you buy a prepackaged rice product, take a close look, because there might be some little brain swimmers in there, which might go into your brain and eat it.
Oh, actually, I remember reading your blog post about that, and you had given it such a clever title. You had titled it Raman, ramen, like come on.
Exactly.
It was
Thank you for reminding me what I titled it.
Yeah. No, it was great. But the information contained therein, absolutely frightening.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. It looks like we have another question, this time from Hannah McNeil. Thanks for your question, Hannah. And it's for you, Lenny. Lenny, why did you lock yourself in Rupert's bathroom at Tuesday Open Mic a couple years ago?
Wow, it's a longtime fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I spilled a beer on my khaki shorts, and it looked like I had urinated on myself. And I didn't have the confidence to go up on stage and own it. I should have just gone up and been like, "Oh, I peed myself." I don't know what it would, I don't know what it would have. You can't live your life looking back,
right?
But I should have owned it.
Oh, do you think that now with more experience, you would have owned it today? If that happened, would you own it?
Yeah, you just go up and you go, "Hey, I peed my pants," and everybody laughs really hard, and then you go zing zang, and they would have been in the palm of my hand.
Yeah. Speaking of this, it gives me a question to ask you, Lenny. Do you tend to go more for toilet humor, or are you more of a clean comic?
I'd like to call it cerebral toilet humor. I will go blue, but it's like a thinking man's blue. You got to really, you gotta have the smarts to get the jokes. So
right, yeah. And if it gets dirty along the way, no, that makes sense. Oh, it looks like we have something delivered through Crawl Space Theater Productions, LLC. It's a text in from Ryan King. Could a food control my thoughts or actions? And I'm going to assume that is for you, Janet. A great question from Ryan King.
I would say that no. You sound very handsome by your name, and whatever you may have a wife, she may be feeding you something daily. Just go with it. It's not controlling anything. Don't worry about it. Just keep eating it.
Okay. You can't get much more of a not suspicious answer than that. From Janet. And it looks like those are all of the Q&A questions that we have. So thanks to our guests for answering those. And before we get back to the game show, just a quick reminder, if you're looking for an opportunity to support Crawl Space Theater Productions, a great way to do that is by purchasing e-gift cards on our website. They're a great way to get ready for our live shows and any upcoming classes that we might have. And as always, following Crawl Space Theater Productions on Facebook is a great way to stay up to date on things like that. So please consider doing those things. We really appreciate it. And now, without further ado, we'll get back to the game show. And we are going to get back to things with question 4. And this question is for you, Janet. And it is, how many campgrounds are a part of Calhaven Trail State Park? Do you get much out into nature, Janet?
Occasionally. However, I had some bad experience with a raw diet that I was doing for a while, and I would forage and eat acorns and bark and dirt and mushrooms, bugs, twigs. I think that's it.
Okay.
So it didn't go well, I would say. So I haven't been out since then. So I don't. This is a hard question for me.
Yeah, I'm picking up on that.
Also, did you know that pre-packaged camping food is known to cause pancreatic arthritis?
Arthritis of the pancreas.
Yes, it's very not really known, but it's real. It hurts bad.
Okay. And again, this is the result of
the freeze-dried process.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
It incorporates some stuff that hurts you bad.
Wow. All right. Well, stay away from those.
Mm-hmm.
And I assume that MREs, military rations, are included.
Oh, those are really bad. Speaking of mind control food, that is something that will control your mind, is MREs.
Really? Military rations?
Exactly. See? Mm-hmm.
Huh. All right. Doomsday preppers, beware. All right. Well, let's get back to the question, Janet. And that question once more was, how many campgrounds are a part of Calhaven Trail State Park? And I know it's a hard question for you, so I appreciate it, but I do have to have an answer, Janet.
Sure. Well, if I remember correctly, the Calhaven Trail is about 35 miles, maybe. And I would guess that maybe there are 4 campgrounds.
Ooh, a good guess. Unfortunately, you were off by 2. The correct answer is 2. But an excellent guess nonetheless. All right, moving right along to question 5 and bringing things back to Lenny. Here's your question, Lenny. Born in Kalamazoo, this novelist wrote the Pulitzer Prize-winning So Big, along with other novels, including Showboat and Cimarron, both of which have been adapted into big budget productions. Name the novelist. Do you read a lot, Lenny?
Oh, here and there. I read a lot of Dilbert collections, and that's been it for the last few months.
Right, and I can see where that might inform your comedy, because Dilbert, it's a thoughtful, intelligent comic, but not afraid to, go blue or go for the cheap laughs.
He hates Mondays, and he loves lasagna. So,
oh, okay, maybe I'm confused. I'll defer to you. You are the resident comedian. Yeah. What do you think about this one? Do you have any idea of the name of the novelist that we're looking for, Lenny?
Well, it's been a while since I've been in a library.
Okay.
But I don't know. I mean, what's the deal there? You go in there. There's the mothballs in the library. But if I had to guess, I would say Kalamazoo's own Derek Jeter.
Derek Jeter, the famous novelist. No, unfortunately, that is not the novelist that we're looking for. We are looking for Edna Ferber. Edna Ferber. But a good guess nonetheless, Lenny. And that brings us to Janet for our final question of the regular round. And this is a visual question, Janet, much like some of the more horrifying things included in your blog. The following heavily distorted picture shows something that is located in Kalamazoo. What is it? And Dana White will bring up that picture, and there it is. What do you see there, Janet?
Ooh. That's difficult.
Anything coming to mind? If it maybe we'll walk it through for you. If it was a food, which it's not, what food would it be?
I would say that it would be I can't say it anymore. It would be a burnt waffle fry.
Interesting.
Which the char on a burnt waffle fry or other barbecued item is known to cause cancer. Right. So I don't eat barbecue or burnt waffle fries, but it looks like it's something maybe outside in a park. Maybe maybe like Bell's Beer Garden. That's what I'm gonna guess.
That's your guess, Janet? Mm-hmm. All right. Well, you were on the right track. And maybe if you'd had a little bit more time available, you would have gotten it. Unfortunately, the correct answer is Bronson Park. It was the Rotary stage at Bronson Park. You were so close. Unfortunately, it gives you nothing but a 0 just the same.
I had a bad experience at Bronson Park at one of the food truck rallies. There was a food vendor, a fisherman Jim, and he was selling what I thought was calamari, but was actually cow bung.
Cow bung?
Cow bung. And you may not know this, but 50 to 75% of calamari that you've eaten and ordered and digested has been cow bung. You just didn't know it.
Really?
Look it up. Look it up.
I will, but
that's poop. Cow, where the poop comes out.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much. We're learning so much tonight. Thank you for that, Janet. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, before we move on to our final question, quick recap of the scores. Both of you are tied at 0, which makes this final question, which is worth 300 points, oh so very much important. And this final question is something that we like to call Kalamazoo, Portage, or blank. And the blank for tonight's question is Nameless, Tennessee. Nameless, Tennessee. And here is our question, contestants. Which location, Kalamazoo, Portage, or Nameless, Tennessee, was referenced in the Elvis Costello song, My Dark Life? And I'll read that once more for you while you write down your answers. Which location, Kalamazoo, Portage, or Nameless, Tennessee, was referenced in the Elvis Costello song, My Dark Life? And as you're writing down those answers, I'll just quickly tell our audience to be sure to stay up to date on all things Crawl Space Theater by following Crawl Space Theater Productions on Facebook and by signing up for our email updates, by visiting our website. And as always, we promise not to spam you. We'll only send you cool stuff. And if you enjoy this sort of online content, be sure to check out Farmer's Alley on Facebook, where they regularly post a lot of great content. And now, without further ado, we'll check back in with our contestants. And it looks like Lenny has written down his answer. Looks like Janet is still working a moment. I'm sure she's more used to using a keyboard than pen and paper. All right. It looks like both of our contestants are ready. So we are going to start with you, Lenny, and walk us through your answer to the question, which location, Kalamazoo, Portage, or Nameless, Tennessee, was referenced in the Elvis Costello song, My Dark Life?
Well, I figured nameless can mean that something's actually nameless. So if he did that, he'd have to say Tennessee after, which is just going to throw off the rhythm. Portage is boring sounding. Kalamazoo is kind of silly. In comedy classes, they teach you the K sound is very funny.
Okay.
So I went with Kalamazoo.
All right. Followed by your trademark closer of Zing Zang.
Zing Zang.
Zing Zang. Well, I appreciate the fact that you fell back on your years and years of comedic training where you learned that the K sound, ka, is funny. Unfortunately, just because something's funny doesn't necessarily mean that it's correct. So I'm sorry to say, Lenny, that was not the right answer. That was not the right answer, which still leaves you at 0 points. All right. Turning our attention to Janet. Go ahead and walk us through your answer, Janet.
Again, I was kind of on the same thought pattern as Lenny was. A lot of people like to exploit the name Kalamazoo because it is kooky and goofy. Mm-hmm. And Elvis Costello is just that. Mm-hmm. So again, I assumed, I'm not familiar with the song. I thought he was just exploiting the name of our town, city.
Okay, so you also went with Kalamazoo.
I did. Yeah.
Okay, understand. Oh, and there's some ways to get in touch. All right. Yes, the correct answer was in fact nameless Tennessee. But it's an odd twist of fate. I do remember in one of your blog posts that Janet, you talked about a rare opportunity to explore the BM of Elvis Costello, and you were surprised by what you found. Can you tell us about that, Janet?
Yes, I had an opportunity he was in Ypsilanti, Michigan, of all places, as tour bus and at a rest stop. Funny enough, there's the bathroom on his tour bus, but he was just going to get Cheetos, which is the number 2 killer of children, next to soda. But anyway, he likes Cheetos, and he's not a child, so I guess he's safe. However, I snuck on to the tour bus, and he had not flushed his most recent BM, so I took it, and you always have to have a spatula ready.
A spatula.
A spatula is the best way.
Well, that makes sense because the holes and it drains the water. Okay.
Yeah. So I scooped it up and put it in a zip bag, and I took it out, and I was so excited. I started inspecting it in my car, and actually it was just not so much poop as it was blended, what can I say? Like dandelions.
Blended dandelions?
Smelled good. It was the strangest thing, and I found out that he only eats flowers.
Interesting. And in what form was the resemblance to dandelion? Was it the kind where if you blow on it, the
all forms,
stuff?
All of it. What happened? The fuzzy stuff, the yellow stuff, the stuff in the stem that looks like glue.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, a fascinating story. And now that I'm thinking about it, I remember seeing something on a local news website, Lenny, that Elvis Costello showed up at a local comedy venue, and you had some interaction with him. Would you mind sharing that story, Lenny?
Yeah, he just came up to me, and he said he really liked my set, of course. And he said, "Can I get one of your Zing Zang t-shirts?" And I said, "Of course you can. You can buy one from me here. But also, if you go to my website, lennymarks.geocities.com, there is a form. And if you fill it out and you send me money, I can send you a t-shirt. That's just for everybody out there. If you want to be like Elvis Costello, who really likes me. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, thank you, both of you for sharing those Elvis Costello tales. I know that our viewers really appreciate it. Unfortunately, we do have to address the fact that both of you are losers tonight. So what we'll have you do is sing together a cappella style the first verse from the song "I've Got a Gal in Kalamazoo." And while you're doing that, I promise to dance along as if it's the best rendition that I've ever heard, and I guarantee you it will be. So I am going to count both of you down, and you'll go ahead and take us away, transport us with your lovely singing voices. 1, 2, 3, take it away.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I got a gal in Kalamazoo. I don't want to boast, but I know she's the toast of Kalamazoo. Years have gone by, my how she grew. I like her looks when I carry her books in Kalamazoo.
Oh, fantastic. Fantastic stuff, Lenny. Fantastic stuff, Janet. Thank you so much. I'd like to thank both of you once again, everyone watching, everyone a part of Crawl Space Theater. Be sure to take care of yourselves. Support local comedy and comedians like Lenny. Treat your tummies right by following the advice of Janet and her blog. Whatever you do, be sure to take care of yourselves, viewers. And most importantly, and above all, remember to help control the bat population. Have your bats spayed or neutered. Good night, everyone.
Kalamazoo, you are about to find out with some improvisation and witty banter. You'll have no doubt that, yes, there really is an answer. Kalamazoo.